Hi everyone, today we are going to be talking about your showreel. So when it comes to doing a submission to a representative, such as an agent or a manager, your showreel can be the big thing that sets you apart from everyone else. Now, there are a few key points to keep in mind when creating your showreel, especially when it comes to having your buyers in mind. The thing you have to remember is that your buyers are very time poor. Remember, they already have an existing client base for which they are working for and trying to sell and trying to pitch and submitting for projects. So they need to spend the majority of their time of the day pitching and selling those existing clients. However, it will get to a point where they need to get new talent and they need to start looking at their applicants. Besides your headshot, your resume, your cover letter, your showreel is going to be a really important tool to determine whether or not that rep wants to bring you in for a meeting, because that is the ultimate goal. To get into the room for a meeting, which hopefully will lead to representation. So here are a few tips and tricks for your showreel. Keep your showreel short. The shorter the better. Think quality over quantity. You want to keep in mind that your buyers have very little time to look over any material. So the shorter you keep your showreel, the better chances of them going through the whole thing. This also means you want to put your best work first. This will ensure and guarantee that they see the best of the best right from the top. The most effective and efficient way of selling your abilities and what you can play and what you can do is by putting the best acting or the best performance that you've got right at the top of the reel. Then you can be done with the anxiety of, oh, did they see that? I wonder if they watched it. No, you already know that they've watched it because that's the first thing that they're going to see. At the beginning of the reel, don't put any sort of title card with your name or your contact details or any of that, because that should already be in your submission email, in the cover letter. Otherwise, it should be on the resume. Otherwise, it should be on the description box of the video, or ideally you can put it at the end. Have your headshot with the information at the end as a calling card, just to serve as a reminder to them. You want to be able to have a mix of genres and types throughout your reel. So at the very least, you want to have two contrasting genres. You want to have a comedy and drama, because they're your basis for all scripts. So when it comes to the comedy scenes, you want to keep them really short and really quickly paced. You want to be looking at the setup joke, or the setup joke extended joke, or the turnaround. When you keep around those comedic techniques within a comedic scene, you're going to get to the point of that scene really quick. We as the rep are going to be able to see your technique, and we're going to be able to get a really good understanding as to how you work with comedy. When it comes to the dramatic scenes, you want to focus on the 10 to 20, even 30 seconds around the highest point of tension within that dramatic scene. You know, every dramatic scene will have a really high point of tension where the audience is like, oh, what's gonna happen next? That's what you want to focus on when it comes to the reel. You want to get that edge of the seat moment and cut it, because you want to keep them wanting more. That is the goal. The more that they want and the more unresolved it is and the better you're acting, the more it's going to hook them in, and then they're going to have to ask, can I see the full scene, or what happens next? Hopefully it entices them enough to bring you in for a meeting. That, along with your comedy technique, bam, you're done. Realistically, your reel only needs to be a minute and a half. Anything more than 2 minutes, I generally don't look at. You know, within the first 10 to 15 seconds, we as reps, especially those of us who've been doing it for a while, we already know whether you're going to be a good enough actor or not. Then it becomes a matter of other things like how we're going to sell you and where in the market do you fit and what are your types and all of that sort of stuff. If you have the ability to speak other languages or do other accents,
come on, plane! Why? What do you think you're doing? Just go away!
So if you have the ability to speak other languages or perform other accents that are quite authentic or that you usually get cast in, you want to be able to show them within your reel as well. If you have the opportunity to do two contrasting scenes, why not do one in your natural accent and one accent that you always get cast in? Offering that type of contrast will be another one up when it comes to selling yourself to these agents or managers. Also showing range in type within your clips as well. If one dramatic scene is, say, a doctor as opposed to the nerd in a comedy. In terms of what you can control, you as the actor, what you're putting out into the world, what you're putting out in front of these agents and these managers, this is what you can control. If you can make that as strong as possible, then that's it.